here's what I do for rescreens. This side, which is the spline side, always faces the outside. These clips, once the window's in, goes in. So when you're looking from the inside, you don't see the spline. Nobody really notices this from the outside of the house, the spline, and that's why it's done this way. This way too, in case of a fire, you can push the screen out if you need to. If it's the other way, it takes a little bit more force. So let's see, this had a rip in it, and I'll just put a quick rip, a tear. What I would do is come in, and you can take all this spline out. And spline comes in different colors. It comes in gray, it comes in black. There's different sizes for different types of screen. There's different pins for holding the screen in place. This is a 160 spline, I believe. This is a standard sized window. So I would check the spline. Usually I don't reuse spline again. And the reason being is when you roll it out, it stretches. After a while, it shrinks. So when you roll this again, it's gonna stretch out even more. You're gonna cut it and it's gonna get even shorter. So it's all right if it goes to here, but if it keeps going too much, it just doesn't look right. And wind or something could hit it, it could open. I worked with Langston Road Elementary School, and I'm trying to be zero waste. So what I'm doing is donating this to the art classes so that they can make projects throughout the year with this. So I put it off into a separate bin over here. I'll go through it before I give it to them. I'll make sure that I just wipe it down clean and donate it to them. That way it'll keep it out of the landfill, because that's a rubberized product. I'm not sure, other than being used for other projects, what it could be used for. This screen is a fiberglass, some of it's plastic. I still believe this can be recycled. So I have been putting it in with the recycling, and they've been taking it. But the bad stuff I just put away. I'll put away for recycling for later. I'll have a bare frame like this. I'll come in with my cleaner. I have some clean rags here. And what I do for the customer, a lot of places don't do, is I'll give this a quick spray down. Just let it sit a minute and clean it off, because why put a dirty screen back in a customer's home? You know, this looks nicer when it's clean. So I'll do that. I'll switch it over to the other side, and I'll do the same thing. That's pretty good. These are the original corners. If they needed replacing, what I would do is I would come and I have a kits, and all my kits have different parts in them. So I have everywhere from springs. These clips go, when you're rolling a screen, you put them, if they have springs on them, you put these in and you measure. You're supposed to measure. Some people just eye measure. I like to have an exact, and then that way they can pull up the screen, because with these springs on them, they'll put tension on it. If they prefer a black one, we have black ones too. They go like this, which are a little bit smaller. It's up to whatever I see the customer has a screen for. If they have a tension, I'll probably go with the clearer ones. But these are all my parts. I have all different types for the wood windows. These are for your mullions, which are the bars that go across the center. I make up, if a customer doesn't want me to install their windows, which most of the time they don't, I send these in packets. These were for a wood window that I did in Florida. I did 6 screens. So I gave them this, and with a kit, taped it to it, and they were able to put it in, and they loved it when it was done. So these are some of the parts that I have here. And I made 2 exact kits the same, so I never run out of parts. keep everything nice and neat, and if I need to go on the road and somebody doesn't want me to pick it up, I can take this with me. This is a aluminum bright finish. This is usually people with wood windows like that metal finish on the outside, and that's what I put on. They don't have to. They can use the fiberglass screen, or they can use, this is an aluminum dark screen. I have more bright screen here. This is for an 1814. And what I mean by 1814 is, per square inch, it's 18 by 14 squares. So this is a smaller hole. It goes 1816, which is normal screen windows. 1814 is for porch and patio and pool areas. And then you have the you have the 2020 screen, which is 20 squares by 20 squares per inch. And they call that no-seam screen. It's a little bit darker, a little bit tighter. You can't see out of it as good, but it keeps more bugs out. If you're in an area with really small no-seams, here they're a little bigger, you don't have to worry. But places like Florida, you do, because of the sand in the ocean, they use a little bit more of the thicker screen. But again, you wouldn't want to put it in your window because you wouldn't be able to see out of it that good. They put them in certain windows that they keep open all the time. But in this case, we're going to use a regular 1816 screen. I mark everything so that they know, and they come in different sizes. You can get everything from 12 inch all the way up to like 96 inches. So what I do here is take this off. I'll clear over the area since I'm not using these. Make sure what you do is you put out your screen. Just like this. You want to make sure that it's even. So right here I'm making sure that it's even so it's square. Because if you roll it like this, of course you can see the grain. It's going to be uncentered. So I leave a little bit of overhang. A lot of people, they like to use as less as possible. I rather make sure it's done right the first time. I'm making sure my corners are straight, making sure it's square. I'll put this in. I'll grab my tool using the, I got a concave end on this. And it's just taking your time. If you go too fast, what will happen is you'll cut your screen. You just want to take it nice and slow. And that's it, this side's rolled in. I do is I take my knife, I push this end in, make sure it's tight. There's two ways you can roll a screen. The first way is rolling all the way around, or you cut it in the corners. I prefer to cut it in the corners because if a mistake happens later on, or it just comes out of its slot, then you can go and repair it a little better. Because if you roll it around the corner, what will happen is you'll have to pull that corner out, that side will come out. And after the screen is cut, it's very hard to keep it tight again. So now you're gonna have to pay to re-roll it. I'm gonna cut it a little bit back. Put this off the side. I've done one side. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come around and do the other side. I don't want to pull this too hard because when you do, what it happens is it bows the screen. So I'm on the last leg right here. I had it on the wrong side. The flat side they use for the porch spline, which is a flat spline. See that when it goes like that? That's just getting tight. I like to do mine a little bit less. It's all right like that. When you lock it in, it'll lock nice and tight. But I also like to keep it loose. But you're cutting this, wrapping this back up, so I don't step on it and you get footprints all over it and everything. I'm just gonna put this back where it needs to be. Come back here and finish my project. Everything else looks good. Take my knife, which is supposed to be sharp. Keep my hands away, safety first. You don't want these little pieces of screen sticking out. So here it is. No little frays hanging off the end. All the corners look good. Put my knife in, safety first. Checking the corners, make sure it's good. Flip it around. So when this locks in, it looks like that. It'll straighten up once it gets in the groove. It straightens up and it keeps it nice and tight. You can see how square those are. It looks really good. One screen like that, customers say, oh, it's warped. But when it locks in, it really is very good. I think the little snap is better. So what I do is I take ones like this now that are already done, and if there's a group of them, take them, put them all together. Actually, I'm going to put this on the outside so they don't rub up against each other, and then I'll wrap it. Even if it's single, I wrap the bottoms because it keeps the corners from breaking. It keeps them from getting scratched. So I just do a quick one. This keeps it straight. You give it to the customer. You explain to them that it's twisted. This is the way it twisted. It snaps in and it's okay. It's nice and tight, and you can feel the tightness on these, on all of these. This is the bottom one that I did. This is beautiful, nice and tight. It's supposed to have a little spring into it. It's supposed to have a little give. When you get into the aluminum, it's a little bit more rigider. The only problem with the aluminum type is if a tree hits it, it puts a dent in it. You have to smooth it out. The only good thing about it is you can straighten out the lines in it. If the line gets moved over, you can straighten your finger because it's actually woven. It's not melted together like this type of screen is. But this is 3 screens. This is a better view screen. You can see me almost clearly with 3 screens like that. So this is a better product than what you find in the stores. The stores are just a basic generic 1816 screen. It's not a thinner screen. It's harder to see out of. So if I put 3 regular screens up to this, it'd be a little darker to see through. And that's basically it.